can fly around the world in first class.
Yep, that's Ryan Trahan. And somehow he got caught up in this insane YouTuber scam. This is a story about scams, but not the usual dollar store garbage like buy my crypto course, bro. No, this one hits differently because the people involved, they're not your usual scammy sleazeballs with fake Lambos and TikTok drip. These are the golden boys of the platform. Ludwig, Ryan Trahan, and a few others who look like they were hand-carved by Disney to be morally perfect. But somehow, they got tied up in some extremely suspicious crap. This isn't some gotcha smear piece. I'm not here to say Ludwig's been siphoning grandma's retirement fund or that Ryan Trahan is running a Ponzi scheme with soup kitchens. What actually happened is so much better. It's a masterclass in how even the most beloved creators can get tricked, trapped, or tempted into promoting or being tied to absolute dog water. And all it takes is one sketchy partnership to taint your reputation like a piss stain. On white pants, let's start with a guy whose mustache has more charisma than 90% of TikTok, Ryan Trahan. We all know Ryan Trahan is like the human equivalent of a glass of cold lemonade on a hot day, refreshing, sweet, and almost too good to be true. The dude walked across America with a penny, made content so wholesome it could cure road rage, and has never once looked like he'd hurt a fly. But even angels can trip over landmines. Because during one of his legendary penny challenge series, Ryan worked with a charity called Water.org, a group that on the surface seems like God's personal hydration team. Their mission? Bring clean water to people in need. People started looking into the financials of some water charities, including the ones Trahan supported, and noticed a lot of the donation money was going nowhere near actual water. Administrative fees, marketing budgets, vague, operational costs. It was like a magician's hat full of excuses instead of rabbits. Now, I want to be clear. Trahan himself didn't scam anyone. But the problem is, when you tell your massive fan base, donate to this great cause, and that cause turns out to be spending 40% of funds on office coffee and search engine optimization campaigns, you've unknowingly become the middleman in a donation laundering operation. Ryan likely got bamboozled here, but it proves the point. Good intentions don't protect you from bad optics, and if your charity spends more on advertising, then you're not saving the world, you're just LARPing as a savior while drowning in your own PR. All right, let's crank this up. Next target, king of moguls himself. Ludwig is like if a Twitch streamer and a startup CEO had a baby raised on Diet Coke and Smash tournaments and somehow convinced the internet to watch him sleep for money. But even a man with a brain bigger than his subathon can get caught in the corporate grease trap. Let's talk about Off-Brand, his creator agency. On paper, Off-Brand is a revolutionary middle finger to the slimy underworld of corporate influencer deals. It's like if Robinhood wore a hoodie and negotiated brand deals between Apex Legends tournaments.
And so that's why I made Off-Brand. The idea of it is to help those creators in the future to make cool shit, to make cool shows. And I made it with my friends, Stans, Atrioc, and Nick Allen. All right, so
the whole point is to help creators get better, more ethical sponsorships. Sounds amazing. Except, turns out when you scale that fast and try to juggle that many brands, Off-Brand has worked with a ton of clients, and while most of them are fine, there were at least 2 partnerships that made people do a full Scooby-Doo double take. One involved a mobile game company notorious for shady microtransactions and gambling mechanics aimed at literal kids. Another one, a crypto-adjacent finance app that smelled like it was built in a Russian bot farm bathroom. Now, I'm not saying Ludwig personally handpicked these sewer tier brands and said, yes, let's financially screw my fellow creators. Your brand stands for ethical creator deals, and then someone in your company signs a check from a mobile casino disguised as a puzzle game. You've got a problem, big man. And here's the real kicker. Ludwig's entire image is built on transparency and trust. He's the guy who'll show you the back end of his stream analytics and tell you exactly how much he made from a YouTube short. Something shady comes crawling out of the Off-Brand closet. It feels like betrayal, even if it's unintentional. And I'll say this again for the people in the back. Ludwig isn't a scammer, but when you're the face of a brand that's supposed to protect creators and that brand accidentally enables the exact kind of sponsorship Roddick claims to fight, you're complicit by proxy. Even if you're just sitting there playing smart smash while it happens. Even Ludwig, with all his polish and polish remover, couldn't keep the scammy stink off him forever. Sometimes the monster under the bed is holding a brand deal and a non-disclosure agreement, heading straight into the marketing meat grinder. Time to talk about Mr. Beast and the fast food fantasy that turned into a lawsuit-flavored Happy Meal. Mr. Beast is YouTube's golden boy, the Willy Wonka of viral content, except instead of chocolate, he hands out Teslas and pays your grandma's mortgage. Guy has built a brand on doing good, being generous, and flexing cash like it's a superpower. But even Superman occasionally flies face first into a power line, and that's exactly what happened with Beast Burger, was Jimmy's attempt to take over the food world. A virtual restaurant chain built on ghost kitchens where you could order a Beast Burger from your phone and feel like you were chewing on internet clout. Sounds great in theory, except in practice, it was a goddamn culinary war crime. People were receiving soggy buns, raw chicken, missing orders. And this wasn't just a one-off situation. It was widespread enough that it went from Reddit meme to actual lawsuit. Mr. Beast eventually sued his own partner company because they were pumping out Beast Burgers from random ghost kitchens with zero quality control. Imagine building your empire on making people happy, and suddenly you're responsible for giving Karen from Ohio explosive diarrhea because her fries were cooked in dishwater. But here's the thing, Mr. Beast didn't do this out of greed. He didn't start Beast Burger to screw over his fans. He probably saw it as another way to give back, create jobs, and grow the brand. But in the process, he handed the keys to his kingdom to a company that treated food like a second-hand thrift item. And when that food carries your face, your name, and your brand, you own that failure, whether you like it or not. Beast Burger is a cautionary tale in overextending your empire. It shows that you can have the best intentions, the biggest platform, and still get burned when you trust the wrong people. And when you're the internet's poster boy for doing the right thing, that stain sticks like mustard on white pants. So yeah, Mr. Beast, the Walking Mr. Rogers episode, accidentally helped mass distribute subpar mystery meat to millions. And the worst part, some people only ordered it because they trusted him. Looking into the prime drink disaster, also known as Tao to turn sugar water into a global scandal. Alright, so KSI and Logan Paul did the unthinkable. They went from punching each other in the face to shaking hands and selling colorful liquid in plastic bottles like it was the Holy Grail. The sports drink that's less about quenching thirst and more about clout chugging your way to diabetes. To be fair, it exploded. Every kid with access to a phone or a mom with a credit card was out here hoarding Prime like it was Fortnite V-Bucks in bottle form. But here's where things get spicy. Prime wasn't just a hype machine. It became a PR nightmare faster than KSI can scream "Pwasha yo" in a Sidemen video. There were labeling issues. The hydration drink and the energy version had nearly identical packaging, but one of them was loaded with 200 milligrams of caffeine. That's more than a Red Bull. So little Timmy's out here thinking he's sipping vitamins. Meanwhile, he's on his fifth bottle and vibrating like a tuning fork. Then came the misleading health claims. Prime was being sold as a healthier alternative to Gatorade. And look, yeah, Gatorade isn't exactly liquid broccoli, but Prime isn't the second coming of electrolyte Jesus either. Doctors and dietitians started calling this out hard. High sodium, artificial sweeteners, and zero transparency about the ingredients sourcing. That's not health food. That's marketing cosplay. And let's not forget the scarcity scam. Limited stock drops, resellers flipping bottles for $20 a piece, stores getting raided like it was Black Friday meets Mad Max. The artificial scarcity drove demand into the stratosphere, which was the point. It created hype, but at the cost of, sanity.ksi. And Logan tried to play it off, Tato, we didn't expect it to go this viral. Yeah, okay, and I didn't expect my dog to eat my PS5 controller, but here we are. If you're manufacturing a product designed to be addictive in branding and flavor, and then deliberately underproducing it to fuel chaos, you're not launching a drink. You're launching a psychological warfare campaign. And boom, schools had to ban Prime. Literal schools banned it because kids were getting sick, hyper, or distracted. Imagine making a drink so problematic it ends up in the same category as vapes and fidget spinners. So now KSI, YouTube's favorite loudmouth, is sitting on $1 billion product that might also be the reason some 9-year-old just karate chopped his teacher in a sugar rage. That's not a flex, that's a warning story dressed in neon plastic.